Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about making homemade tomato powder. We've had a large harvest over the last few weeks of all the tomatoes out in the garden. Just bucket loads, 5 to 10 gallons almost every couple of days. So once we bring them in, we wash them, core them. We're going to put them into the Vitamix blender and get them down into a liquid state. As you can see here, we got them loaded up. We try to quarter them into decent sizes and then load them up into the Vitamix blender and we'll get it processed. Once we get the tomatoes liquefied in the Vitamix blender, we pour them out into our food mill. This helps us run it through to get out any of the seeds and pulp, and gives us just a cleaner tomato juice down in the bucket below, which we then will pour into half-gallon size ball jars for storage until we're ready for the freeze dryer. So it can take some time, but as we run it through the food mill, it definitely gets the seeds out. And then we can save the seeds for collecting and using the following year. So here we've processed the tomatoes. We've made some homemade salsa, tomato sauce, and pasta sauce. But also we used a steam juicer, to make some tomato juice. The ones here are the ones we ran through the Vitamix blender. We got them in the half-gallon ball jars. And we got our Harvest Right medium freeze dryer. It's pre-cooling and getting down to temperature before we can load the trays in. So here in a few minutes, just waiting a little bit longer to get down to temperature, and it'll let us know when to load the trays. Okay, the freeze dryer is down to temperature, and we've loaded the tomato juice into each of the 4 trays. Each tray holds approximately a little bit over a quart of liquid. We've added parchment paper to make it easier to remove once it's dried and prevents it from sticking to the metal trays. So we'll get this closed up, and we'll go ahead and set the freeze dryer to start freezing. And we'll come back in about 35 to 40 hours to check on it. Alright, so we're closing the door, and one thing I learned is for anyone that has a Harvest Right freeze dryer is you need to pull the door gasket away from the freezer itself. That way when you close the door, it's a double latch door hinge to where when you lock it, it does 2 quarter turns. And that second quarter turn compresses the gasket and makes a tight seal against the door. So you want to make sure that it's completely sealed. And then you hit continue to start the freeze drying process. So we'll come back once it's done. Okay, the freeze dryer is complete after about 38 hours in the freeze dryer. All the trays are partially pulled out and everything appears to be dry. So we'll remove these trays, get them broken up, and move them over into our food processor to where we can start grinding them into a powder. Okay, so we get the freeze-dried tomato chunks moved over into our food processor and grind them up. And as you can tell, it does a really good job of making it a powder. Once we have it in a powder, we add it to our half-gallon ball jar and vacuum seal it. So you can see this was 4 half-gallon ball jars full of tomato sauce. And that's what we still have to powder up. But right now, that one powdered half-gallon ball jar was actually 3 gallons of tomato juice. So it really does condense it down and compacts it for long-term storage. So we'll vacuum seal this, add a oxygen absorber, and then we can use it during the winter time to help make any sauces or salsa, or use it as a thickener in some of our soups. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been a lot of fun making these, and hope y'all guys start doing some tomato powder and enjoying it for long-term storage. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.